Scarlet Nexus, man. This game is one of those titles that came out of nowhere and caught a lot of people off guard back in 2021. Now that we are in 2025, I decided to dive back in and replay it and see if it still holds up. And honestly, there's still a lot to love here, but also a few things that kinda age like a milk. Disgusting. So let's break it down and let's start off with the gameplay, because this is where the game shines the most, and this is where Scarlet Nexus stands out from all the others. So the gameplay in Scarlet Nexus is this crazy fast-paced anime style action combat system where you are not just slashing enemies with swords, you are also throwing cars at them with your mind. Yeah. And I'm not even joking, you literally yeet a vending machines, buses, a random debris using telekinesis power. It sounds chaotic, and yeah, I freaking love it. You play as either Yuito or Kasane, and each one has their own playstyle. Yuito is a more, close range, sword focused combat? I don't know. Okay, so while Kasane uses flying knives that are great for keeping some distance. Both have that psychokinesis core mechanic, which is like the real star of the combat. You can combo physical attacks with throwing stuff, and the way it all flows together feels super smooth once you get used to it. What I really love is how flashy and satisfying it feels to pull off those combos. You hit an enemy, launch them in the air, throw a giant steel beam at them, dash in, slash a few more times, and finish off with this over-the-top brain crush animation. It's good, right? It's anime shit in a good way. There is also the SAS system. Basically, you borrow powers from your teammates. One gives you fire on your attacks, another lets you teleport, another one slows down time. You can mix and match these powers to suit your playstyle or the enemy you are fighting. This adds some cool strategy because certain enemies are weak to specific powers. For example, some have armor, you gotta burn off, or others teleport around and you need hyperspeed or clairvoyance to track them down. But here's the thing, I will not lie, the combat does get a little bit repetitive later on, especially in the second half of the game. It's like you've already seen all the flashy tricks, and then the enemies just start becoming damage sponges. Some of the fights go on longer than they should, and it stops feeling fun and starts feeling like a chore. I don't like that. Now, when it comes to level design, this is where things start to fall apart a bit. Maybe not, depends. The maps feel kinda empty and linear. You basically go from point A to point B, fight a bunch of monsters, grab some loot, and repeat. There's not much incentive to explore, and the world doesn't feel very alive. It's got a cool futuristic look, kind of like if Blade Runner had a baby with an anime, but lacks of depth. I wish the areas had more side activities, maybe puzzles or even platforming challenges using your powers. Like imagine using telekinesis power to solve environmental puzzles or reach a hidden spots. I mean, they have some of it, but it's too minimum. And let's not forget about the boss fights. The boss fights are kinda a hit or miss. Some are really cool, like there's one where you fight this giant mutated monster that keeps changing forms, and the music is just pure hype. Yeah, I forgot to mention about the music, but we will get into that later on, because the music is outstanding. Oh, spoiler alert! Okay, but then, others feel like they are just big tanks with a lot of health. Again, bullet sponges. I feel like they could have been more creative with mechanics, especially considering how wild the enemy designs are in this game. Yeah, the design in this game, the enemy design, I mean, freaking awesome. Just take a look at that. It is creepy, it is eerie, it feels, I don't know, alien-y? Because this game's enemies called others is like an alien from another world, right? So speaking of it, character progression and skills. The brain map, which is their version of a skill tree, is pretty decent. You unlock new moves and combos, and there is actually a good sense of progression. But again, after a while, you kinda max out everything and there's not much left to look forward to. And by the end, you're just super OP and steamrolling everything. Unless the enemy is just there to waste your time with too much HP. PvP. So what I like about the combat is that the combat is flashy, fast, and fun, at least in the first half, you know. SAS system adds a variety and strategy to the combat. So good, everything feels so smooth when activating the SAS system. It's just, when you press this, it is so responsive, it just pops like you are in an anime. Animations and powers are super satisfying, but later on the combat gets a bit repetitive. But all in all, it is a pretty decent gameplay. The combat is super satisfying, man. It is so smooth, it is impactful, just love it. Everyone praised this game for its combat. Oh, I forgot to touch on the DLC, so let's talk about the DLC right now. This is where things start to get a mixed bag. Some people love it, others not so much. I went back and checked them out again in 2025 to see if they are actually worth your time or just some extra bullshit. And to be honest, it really depends on what kind of player you are. So after the main game drop, Bamco released a few different type of DLCs. Yeah, of course. Who loves DLC? Not me. So most of them fall into two categories. You got the Bond Enhancement Packs, which are the ones that actually add story and a bit of gameplay. Let's start off with the Bond Enhancement Packs. These were basically the meteor DLCs, if you can tell. Each pack adds some extra Bond episodes with your teammates, so if you enjoy hanging out with the characters and seeing more of their personal stories, this stuff is kinda cool. You also get a new SAS abilities from bonding with your party members, so there is some gameplay benefit too. They even threw in some challenges in the Brainfield Simulator, which is like this training mode where you can test out combos and stuff. Now, personally, I like getting to know the characters more. Some of the Bond episodes are fun, some are emotional, and a few even had me going like, yo, why wasn't this in the base game? I mean, for a few bucks, it should be in the base game. It fills in a few blanks and builds on the friendships a bit more. But here's the thing, it's still mostly just dialogue scenes, static visual novel style convos, no big new areas, no crazy boss fights, no full-on missions. If you were hoping for some kind of post-ending story or a major plot twist that changes everything, yeah, you will not find that here. And I think that's why a lot of fans had a mixed feelings, and of course I also feel of like a mixed bag into these DLCs. Some felt like this kind of content should have already been in the base game, and yeah, for me too. I feel like this Bond Enhancement Pack should be in the base game. Like, why am I paying extra just to hang out with my characters, you know? I've already bonded in the main story. Then we have got the cosmetic packs. These are just outfits and weapon skins. You've got stuff like the Guardian attire, the Bond festival costumes, some crossover outfits from Code Vein and God Eater, and even holiday skins like Halloween and Christmas gear. I mean, it's fun to see your character looking different and good, but let's be real. It doesn't change anything about how the game plays. I mean, if you look back on the PS2 era or in the PS3 era, these kind of like outfits can be unlocked by challenges. So it's a no-no for me. Absolutely no. It's not worth spending like $15 or $10 just for this. It's not worth it. Don't buy it. So here's my take. If you're picking up the game for the first time and you can grab the Ultimate or Deluxe Edition on sale with all the DLC included, sure, go for it, because that is when it is worth it. But if you already finished the game and you are thinking about paying full price just for the DLC, you might want to skip it unless you are really craving more character time. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the deal with the DLCs on Scarlet Nexus. Not bad, not great. I mean, it's like paying for ketchup in McDonald's. That's pretty much it. Now, for the story of Scarlet Nexus is one of those games that really tries to mix anime-style storytelling with fast-paced action. And honestly, it kinda works. Well, most of the time. The story is set in a futuristic world where strange alien creatures, called Others, fall from the sky and start attacking humanity. And yeah, they are as weird as they sound, like some mashed up nightmare fuel of furniture and flesh. Definitely a standout in this one. And I love the design of all the Others. Yeah, of all the enemies in this game. It's creepy, eerie, very cool. So, to fight these creatures, there's this elite task force called the OSF, Other Suppression Force. They are made up of soldiers with crazy psychic powers, telekinesis, which is Yuito's the main protagonist of this game, pyrokinesis, teleportation, you name it, everything is there. You play as one of the two main characters, Yuito and Kasane. Both of them are new OSF recruits with very different personalities and backstories. But their paths are super connected and you get to choose whose perspective you want to follow first. Now, here's where it gets interesting and sometimes a bit confusing. The story splits into two routes. If you play as Yuito, it feels like you are on this classic young hero discovering the truth journey. He starts out as this noble, kind-hearted dude from a well-known political family, and things just spiral into chaos around him. Government conspiracies, secret experiments, and time travel. Yeah, it goes there, man. Marvel shit. And Kasane, on the other hand, is way more serious and cold at first, but her side of the story gives you more context behind the mysteries of the world. She's got this intense loyalty to her sister, which is, anime shit like that, and her route dives into darker stuff earlier on. Playing both sides is honestly a must if you want to really understand what's going on. It's like two puzzle pieces coming together. So if you ever played this thing called Resident Evil, and there's these two sides, Leon and someone, the girl, Claire was it? Yeah, Claire. So that's basically it. You need to play two of them. So what I like about the story is that the world building is super cool. I mean, come on man, the whole brain pong thing with people connecting their minds using psychic powers, man, that is fresh vibe. It's got this mix of sci-fi, dystopia, and emotional character drama that actually hits pretty hard in some parts. I also like how deep the lore goes. There's this whole thing about the government harvesting brains, secret organizations messing with timelines, and even people switching bodies to avoid death. It sounds really wild, but it's pretty awesome if you are into anime style storytelling. This is peak anime style storytelling. The character development is solid too. I started off not caring much about most of them, but their little bonding episodes actually made me appreciate them. They each have their own trauma, motivations, and growth. And once you play both sides, you really see how everyone's stories connect. Well, that said, there's some things I don't like too. Sometimes it just throws too much at you. Like one moment you are fighting an alien and the next there is a long talk about time travel and memory manipulation that kind of fries your brain. Like you just don't know what's going on. It's not that it's bad per se, it's just needed better pacing. Yeah, this game really need better pacing. I mean, some scenes drag on too long and you get these long cutscenes where you are just waiting to get back into action because yeah, the gameplay is that good. Also, the split storylines, I get it why they did it, but it can feel a bit repetitive playing both routes. You can basically go through the same levels, fighting the same bosses, and sometimes hear the same dialogues. I think they could have mixed it up more, especially to reward players who go through both playthroughs. Even at first, when I played this game for the first time, I only did Yuito's playthrough, man. Like, I don't really care about Kasane's. So yeah, I think they should really mix both stories from the start than just, splitting them up like this. But all in all, it is a pretty good experience if you like anime stuff. That's basically it. If you like anime stuff, this is the definition of anime style storytelling. So yeah, go for it, man, if you like this kind of shit. Visuals and performance. Scarlet Nexus has that clean anime style aesthetic that really pops, especially if you're into games that feel like you are playing through an action-packed anime series. The character designs are slick, lots of futuristic gear, flowing coats, glowing lines on their suits, and it all matches the brain punk vibe the game is going for. There's a mix of modern cityscapes, high-tech labs, and weird 3D environments that honestly look they came straight out of someone's dream or nightmares. It's really cool. The enemies, like I said, especially the others, are super unique. These aren't your usual monsters. We are talking high heels with flowers coming out of heads, chairs fused with flash, and some really creepy body horror designs. It's weird in the best way possible. They really stand out and make every encounter feel surreal. The effects during combat also looks awesome, like when you use your psychokinesis to toss cars and objects at enemies. There's this weight and style to it. Every power has its own flashy animation and it just feels satisfying and good. So good. Especially when you chain abilities together and everything lights up with neon effects. It never gets old. So flashy, so cool. That being said, not everything is perfect. The world can feel a bit empty. The art direction is solid, but some areas look kind of plain and copy-pasted, especially when you're just running through hallways or generic city streets. It's not ugly, but you will definitely notice some areas were designed more as combat zones, rather than places that feel alive or filled with details. Also, facial animations are kinda stiff. The game mostly uses that classic visual novel style during conversations, character portraits sliding in, blinking in a bit, while the camera just sits there. It's not terrible, I somehow dig it, but don't expect super expressive faces or anything like that. You'll get more emotion from the voice acting than the visuals during the dialogue scenes, and the voice acting is pretty good too. So for performance, here's some good news. Scarlet Nexus runs really well even on older hardware. On PC and Xbox One, the game is super stable. On PS4 too, super stable. Load times are fast, frame rate holds up nicely, and there aren't any major bugs or crashes that ruin the experience. Yeah, in my 30 hours playthrough, no bugs, which is crazy for a game like this. On PC, you can easily get smooth 60 FPS if your rig is decent. The game isn't that demanding, honestly, and even the mid-range GPUs handle it fine. And since it's not aiming for hyper-realistic graphics, it's optimized in a way that keeps things fast and fluid. Great for a game where fast reflexes and combat flow really matter. The only real downside is there's not a ton of graphics customization on PC. You can tweak resolution, shadows, and anti-aliasing, but it's not super in-depth. Still, the game looks good enough that you probably won't mind that much. But you can also use mods to enhance your graphics, and I did it, and wow, it will tank your GPU. So Scarlet Nexus looks like a stylish anime come to life. The art direction is fresh, the enemy designs are totally unique, and combat effects are flashy and fun to watch. It's not pushing crazy realism or detailed open worlds, but what it does well. Performance-wise, it's smooth, stable, and optimized across the board. No bugs at all in my 30 hours playthrough. Maybe I just haven't encountered it. So super solid, man. No hiccups, no stuttering or whatever it is. It is just a well-running experience. And honestly, in a time where so many games launch broken, this is pretty much a win, guys. So if you want to play an optimized game with crazy good combat, buy this one, try it out. This is the part that I am excited about, the audio. Scarlet Nexus audio doesn't get much attention, or doesn't get enough attention, because honestly this game sounds really good. Even when some parts of the gameplay start feeling repetitive, the sound design actually keeps things feeling fresh and stylish. Okay, let's start with the voice acting. You can play the game in either Japanese or English, and both versions are actually solid. Personally, I tried both English for my first run, Japanese for my second, and I think it really comes down to preference. The English dub is surprisingly well done. The actors do a good job of capturing the personalities of each character without making it sound too forced or cheesy, like many JRPGs. Yuito and Kasane both have very different vibes, and that comes through their voice acting too. Yuito's more emotional and open, while Kasane's got that cold, calm energy, but you still hear her soften up as the story goes on. Some of the side characters are hit or miss though. There were a few lines that felt a little stiff or awkward, especially during some of the Bond episodes, but overall it's definitely not one of those turn it off and switch it to Japanese ASAP. So this is a pretty good dubbing, pretty good voice acting, so kudos to them, man. Now, sound effects. This is where the game really pops off. The audio team absolutely nailed the feel of the combat. Every hit, every slashes, every psychic throw has weight to it. Like when you slam a car into a monster and it lands with that heavy crash sound, it feels so satisfying. The brain crush finishers are brutal, man. And the sound design adds that extra oomph that makes you feel like you just did something epic. Even the smaller stuff sounds clean, like menu clicks, item pickups, or activating a new power with SAS. So snappy, sharp, super clean, simple yet effective. Man, oh my god, this game's audio is top tier. And then we got the music. Oh my god, the music. Just listen to this, man. Just listen to this. This is no joke, and I always love the music in this game, and I always use for like background music in many of my videos like you hear right now. It's this game's BGM or OST. The soundtrack blends futuristic beats with rock, electronic, and even jazz elements. It got this weird sci-fi high energy vibe that totally matches the tone of the game. The combat tracks are hype and they keep you pumped during longer fights, while the slower, emotional themes during cutscenes actually hit pretty hard. And when the story gets serious, the music works so well in this game. And when you are like bonding or just relaxing in a coffee shop or just running around through the city, oh my god, the music, I don't know what else to say. The music is just phenomenal in this game. Well, if I had to nitpick, I'd say the soundtrack could have used a bit more variety in the exploration areas. Some of those background music loops get a little bit repetitive, especially when you are in the same looking corridors for 20 minutes. But other than that, it is more than solid. It is so good. Basically just hear the OSTs in this game. It's amazing. It's really, really good. I don't know what else to say, because if you do appreciate stuff like this, the audio, oh my god, I think it's on par with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth audio. I mean, for music. Well, that's the end of the review. So my final thoughts: is it worth revisiting Scarlet Nexus in this year? I'd say it still holds up in a lot of ways, especially if you are craving some good old anime action and flashy powers. But you definitely start noticing the cracks more now. The gameplay is fun, but it's not super deep. I mean, the skill tree, I mean, it's fine, it's good. It makes you feel that you have progression, but it's not that deep, man. So it's like eating a candy. It's awesome at first, but after too much, you just want something more filling. That's probably how I would describe it. But if you have never played it, it's still worth a try. And for the $20 you get the complete edition or the deluxe edition, I think it is super worth it. And if you have played this game before, maybe it's fun to get back to it for a few hours. Getting that no damage stuff, no damage versus Karen. The question is, would I want a sequel for this game? Definitely, man, for sure. But I want them to add more open exploration, deeper RPG elements, and more variety in combat. I mean, the foundation is already solid, the idea is solid, it screams phenomenal, especially the audio. And if this game gets that polishness and creativity like Final Fantasy Rebirth for the combat, for the progression, for the team attacks, I think this game is a win, man. Definitely a win. So give this game a try, and I know you will definitely enjoy it if you like anime.